Chosen one, tell me something. Have you noticed that lately your libido seems to have simply vanished? That intense desire, the impulses, the cravings that once dominated your thoughts now feel so distant that you even wonder if something is wrong with you. Relax, you are not losing your mind. There is nothing wrong with you. And this is certainly not a coincidence. It is something much greater. It is spiritual. It is God working behind the scenes in your life with a purpose far deeper than you can imagine. When we enter a process of awakening, when we begin to walk toward our truth, everything that is no longer in harmony with this new frequency starts to be removed. It is not punishment. It is care. It is preparation. It is God saying, the time has come to level up. And do you know what happens in this process? The loss of libido, often seen as strange or negative, is actually a sign that something sacred is happening within you. It is as if the universe is calling you to look beyond the body, beyond the impulses, beyond desire. It is inviting you to access a higher mission, something that originates in the soul and overflows into the spirit. Before we dive into the deeper reasons why God may be diminishing your sexual desire, I want to tell you something important. If what I'm saying here touches your heart, if you feel this message is exactly what you needed to hear today, then stay here with us. This community is made up of awakened souls, people who, like you, are walking with purpose and consciousness. Now, let's get to the first point. Your energy is being redirected towards something greater. Chosen one, your sexual energy is not just a bodily impulse. It carries immense power. It is pure creative force. It is the same energy that gives life, moves dreams, and sustains realities. But when you are called to something higher, this energy begins to be channeled differently. It is not repression, much less punishment. It is a divine reconfiguration. God is reclaiming this energy that was once directed toward momentary pleasure and bringing it back within you. Why? Because now it needs to be used to awaken what is still dormant inside you. Spiritual gifts, wisdom, sharp intuition, creative inspiration, healing power. All of this begins to activate when this energy is preserved and redirected. You are being prepared for a mission that requires clarity and focus. To be free from emotional baggage and attachments that once dragged you down. This pause in libido, this moment of inner silence, is like a sacred pause that comes before a divine dance. It is a time of preparation, preparing you to experience a relationship rooted in deep trust, true intimacy, and pure love. The kind of love that flows from the soul, not just the skin. A love that uplifts, heals, and transforms both hearts. To be free from emotional baggage and attachments that once dragged you down. This pause in libido, this moment of inner silence, is like a sacred pause that comes before a divine dance. It is a time of preparation, preparing you to experience a relationship rooted in deep trust, true intimacy, and pure love. The kind of love that flows from the soul, not just the skin. A love that uplifts, heals, and transforms both hearts. Fourth, the death of the ego for the awakening of the spirit. One of the most intense and liberating lessons in the spiritual journey is understanding that for the spirit to rise, the ego must lose its grip. And when I speak of ego, I mean that part of us that seeks instant pleasure, clings to passing desires, and is distracted by illusions and empty promises. When you notice your sexual desires beginning to quiet down, it does not mean you are broken or lacking energy. On the contrary, it reveals that a deeper, wiser part of you is awakening. You are shifting from being guided by impulse to living with greater intention. This change is not a loss, it is an evolution. It is as if something within you is being transformed, refined, and polished. You begin to rise, breaking free from the prisons of easy pleasure and the temptations that steal your peace. You start seeing life through new eyes. Your consciousness expands, and you gain greater clarity. You begin to master your body, your energy, and your thoughts, And that is where the spiritual magic takes place. You are reborn, not as a copy of what the world expects you to be, but as a living expression of what the divine has dreamed for you. Fifth, cleansing from addictions and distractions. Let's be honest, we are surrounded. At every moment we are bombarded with images, conversations, content and stimuli charged with sexual energy on social media, on television, in music, even in advertisements. This constant exposure is not by chance, it is strategic. Its purpose is to weaken, distract and disconnect people from their true inner strength. And this is where God's movement comes in. He begins to pull the brakes. When he reduces your desire for these distractions, it is because he is cleansing you. He is removing the excess, the poisons, the addictive cycles that once trapped you in circles of guilt, shame, and drained energy. It is like a spiritual detox. God is disconnecting you from this hypersexualized system that feeds the flesh, but empties the soul. And yes, it hurts at first, because habit screams. But with time, you begin to feel a new clarity, a peace that once seemed impossible. This process is a sacred new beginning. It is God preparing you for something greater. God is saying, let me show you what it means to live with purpose, with focus, with a pure heart. Little by little, you begin to return to yourself. You feel your energy coming back, your mind becoming clear, and your spirit aligning with what truly matters. It is a rebirth, a liberation, a reunion with who you were always meant to be. Sixth, intuition awakened and the activation of spiritual gifts. When God begins to distance you from those intense cravings for purely physical pleasures, something powerful starts moving within your soul. That energy, once directed outward into the material world, doesn't disappear. It changes form. It transforms into spiritual fuel. It's as if suddenly your inner being is illuminated with a new light. Your third eye begins to truly open. Your intuition, once quiet and subtle, now reveals itself with clarity, almost like a whisper inside you that speaks louder than any external shout. You start noticing things that once went unnoticed, signs, repetitions, subtle sensations. Suddenly, everything seems to hold a greater meaning, and without realizing it, you begin to hear God, not only in your prayers, but in the smallest details of everyday life. A conversation, a song that plays out of nowhere, a synchronicity too perfect to ignore. It feels as though the universe is speaking to you in codes that your soul is finally learning to understand. You begin to connect with your gifts in a new way. You may notice a deeper spiritual sensitivity, clarity in visions, heightened intuition, gifts of healing, listening or guidance. In truth, what has always been within you finally begins to awaken, waiting for this very moment. And then you understand. It was never about repression. It was always about transformation. The energy that once was wasted on fleeting desires is now fueling your connection with the divine. It is expanding your creativity, empowering you to manifest what your soul truly longs for. Suddenly, everything begins to make sense. Seventh, you are entering a season of manifestation. Now listen to this with an open heart. Sexual energy and creative energy are, at their core, the same force. It is the breath of creation that moves everything, from the birth of new life to the realization of a dream or divine purpose. When God calls you to preserve this energy, it is not punishment, it is preparation. It is His way of saying, I want to take you higher. This energy, when not wasted, begins to accumulate within you like a sacred river, overflowing with power. And with it, your mind grows sharper, your ideas clearer, and your determination stronger. You feel more present, more powerful, more whole. And then the unexpected happens. You begin to notice that life itself starts flowing in a way you never imagined possible. You become a true channel of miracles, a living testimony that the divine is real and present. Doors that were once locked suddenly open with ease. The right people, those who carry keys to your destiny, cross your path at exactly the right time. Opportunities that seem distant or even impossible now appear before you as if they were always waiting for this very moment. Material and spiritual blessings begin to arrive, not as random luck, but as a clear response to your new alignment with God's higher plan. It feels as though heaven itself is affirming your steps, confirming that you are on the right path. Why does this happen? Because now you've stopped pouring your precious energy into things that once drained your spirit, things that left you empty and disconnected. You've awakened to the truth that your energy is sacred, and you can no longer waste it on what does not serve your soul. Instead, you have learned to channel this vital force into building the life God designed for you. A life filled with purpose, where every action carries meaning. A life of abundance, where provision comes in both seen and unseen ways. A life of peace, where your heart rests in trust. And a life of true fulfillment, where you finally feel complete, whole, and aligned with the reason you were created. This is not just change, it is transformation. It is the divine signature marking your journey, showing you that when you choose alignment over distraction, heaven moves on your behalf. This is your time. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. The sacred moment has finally arrived. You are standing at the threshold of a new reality, a reality that has been waiting for you all along. The time has come to give birth to what your soul has been carrying in silence. Dreams that once felt distant or impossible are now ready to manifest because they are not just your desires, they are whispers of God planted inside your heart. You are stepping into the life you have always sensed existed, the one you secretly knew was yours, but for which you had to be prepared. And now, chosen one, you are ready. Ready not because everything is perfect around you, but because something has awakened within you. The strength, the clarity, the faith, it has all been ignited. Understand this, nothing about your journey has been random. Every delay, every heartbreak, every night, you cried out in silence. It was not wasted. All of it was part of the divine design. What you thought was punishment was actually preparation. What you thought was rejection was actually redirection. And now, as you stand here, you can see that none of it was by chance. This is a divine transformation. It is like surgery for the soul. Painful at times, yes, because the old self is being stripped away. But just as gold is purified in fire, you too are being refined. God is removing the layers that never belonged to you. The doubts, the fears, the limiting beliefs, the wounds of the past. Piece by piece, He is shaping you into who you were always meant to be. Chosen one, trust this process. Even when you don't see the full picture, heaven is already painting it. Every detail of your destiny is being aligned perfectly. The right doors are opening, the right people are being sent, the right opportunities are flowing toward you. It may not look like it now, but in the spiritual realm, everything is already set in motion. What feels like breaking is actually building. What feels like loss is actually making space for gain. What feels like waiting is actually God's timing protecting you from what would have harmed you and guiding you to what will bless you. This is not the continuation of the old story. It is the birth of a new one. The old chapter is closed. The pain you endured has done its work. The lessons you carried have prepared your heart. And now, the new chapter begins. Not with fear, but with courage. Not with doubt, but with faith. Step into this new season with confidence. Heaven is backing you. The same God who carried you through storms is now lifting you into promises. This is your appointed time, your divine moment, your sacred awakening. Walk forward, knowing that every step you take is guided, every door you enter is blessed, and every word you speak carries the power of the Spirit within you. Chosen one, rise. Your time is now. And yes, your sexual desire will return, But understand this clearly. It will not return in the same way it once controlled you. No longer will it be chained to impulses of the flesh. No longer will it drag you into cycles of emptiness and regret. This time it will rise within you as something sacred, something refined, something aligned with your divine mission. Desire, in its purest form, is energy. And when that energy is directed with wisdom, it becomes a powerful,